난 떠날래. 떠나고 싶어. 나한테 호텔은 정말 행복한
떠나고 싶다는 말 무슨 뜻이야?
호텔 그만 쓰고 싶어.
Meal prep for the week is done. I'm trying to start a new thing again where I actually meal prep enough for at least 3 days every weekend. And it's a lot of work, but it's a habit that I fell out of, and I'm trying to get back into it with a focus on protein and like tracking my macros a little bit more closely. So I've been using my scale more religiously. I've been, making strides in increasing my protein with every meal, which is a struggle that I've had for years. So that is the goal, is to increase my protein intake and see how it, affects my body. I do feel like it has been fueling my workouts a lot better and my days overall. I have a lot more energy, and it's been a struggle. I tend to be a more carby person, but it's been a struggle over the years to not only get enough protein, but to know how much protein I'm actually getting. Sometimes you overestimate or you underestimate how much you're eating. I tend to be a person who overestimates how much basically meat I'm actually eating in a day. So that is a thing that I'm working on, and I've been doing that consistently for about a month now. So I'm proud of myself for sticking to it and hope to see more changes and gains in the future. One thing about meal prepping that I really hate though is that it is still very hot, even though it is in October, and we are supposedly experiencing our first cold front, whatever that means. The weather is a little bit nicer, I will admit, but it is still in the high 80s. Cooking for an hour, no matter how I try to combine it into as little pots and pans as possible, heats up the house, heats up the kitchen, and really makes me feel like I'm melting. So I'm trying to cool down now. You can see how sweaty I am. I feel very sweaty. I'm going to get to work, doing some writing in a little bit. I had the morning just for like groceries and meal prepping and planning and all that mess. And now I'm going to get to what I want to do so that I can hopefully get some words in. My goal is to finish this draft by the end of this month. I believe it is actually realistic. I've been making progress. I finally got over the giant slump I was in, and I want to keep up that momentum. I'm about, it all depends on how many scenes I end up writing. I'm a plotzer, I guess is the best way you can describe me. I plot, but then I kind of like work my way through as it comes. It's just the way I write. And at this stage, I think I'm like maybe 10,000 words away. That depends on what it actually looks like. But that's my goal, is to get this novel to somewhere around 63 to 65,000 words. And I believe as of yesterday, I'm around 56,000. So it should be doable by the end of the month, if not like by the first couple weeks of November. If something goes awry, fingers crossed nothing goes awry. I'm tired of things going awry. But if I stick to it, daily writing, that's also one of the reasons I've been meal prepping. It really does help, because if I have prepped my meals, I don't have to worry about coming home and cooking, at least for a few days out of the week. It gives me more time to figure things out and get things done without having to worry about what to make for that night. So it is super helpful, even if it turns me into a sweaty mess. Pretending like you're not doing anything now. Right. Bad boy. Yeah, babe. You open it. Open it. So I got a haircut. I'm finishing up some tea that I made for dinner, and I'm gonna go out for a little bit. Last night was a migraine night, and I did not sleep very well, so I did not do much today, and that's fine. And at the end of the day, I've been struggling with my hair. Like sometimes at night, like it's gotten to the point where it's bothersome. Like when I'm laying on the pillow, I can feel it, and it's like, go away. So I had been just kind of like putting off going to the salon for a few weeks because I wasn't sure what I wanted. I just knew that I needed a trim. I didn't really want a major style change or anything. I used to be a short hair girl, and I'm just too lazy for it anymore. It's way more effort. You would think that short hair is easier to maintain, but it really isn't. It requires way more styling, and I do not have the interest or the energy to style my hair at this point in my life. So long hair, it's easier to maintain, wash it, wear it, do the thing. I just wanted some layers. I wanted to give it a little bit of shaping and a little bit of trimming to get rid of the completely fried ends. So that's done. I'm also planning on applying some of the overtone that I still have left again. And so I was like, I might as well just get the hair cut so I can do that before Halloween and just have the hint of purple to just go with whatever I dress up as. So that's that. But I have been putting together little clips this week. This vlog is going to be a little disjointed because every time I tried to have a theme, it kind of fell apart. It's basically been a week of catching up on stuff. I think at one point I spoke earlier in one of the clips about finally getting past the big hurdle or, hump or block or whatever you want to call it of the novel. I'm finally finish lines in sight. I have definitely passed 60,000 words at this point. I don't know the exact word count because my running total is a little different from what I have when I actually pop them into Scrivener. So Scrivener, as of at least a chapter ago, said I was at 59,000, and my running total was a little bit lower than that at the time, and I'm now a chapter and a half beyond that. I haven't updated the Scrivener file yet, so I know that I'm somewhere in the 61 range, I believe. That's my best estimate. So I think that I'll be finishing the novel maybe in the next week or two. I'm not pushing myself extra hard. I'm not reaching any specific deadlines. I'm still doing the thing I'm doing. I'm still querying. I sent another query out yesterday. I have a list of agents to query. The struggle is real with the queries. It's not easy finding agents that are open to my kind of genre. It's really difficult at this moment. The rejections that I get are all form rejections and have been for a long time. The very first round, I got a few personalized rejections, but everything else has just been the thank you, but I'm not the best fit for this. I'm not the perfect person to champion this or whatever, it's the same kind of information repeated over and over again. And it's very complicated, the feelings that I know that myself and other authors kind of feel towards that, because on the one hand, I know that a lot of agents are doing this as a side gig on top of whatever their actual, full-time work is. I too have a full-time job. The writing is what I hope would be a side gig, so I get the form replies. Sometimes you just wish that at least it would sound like they actually read it, and sometimes you can't tell if they actually read it or not. Did they just breeze through the query and not bother reading the pages? It's very difficult to get a sense of a novel, I would say, in the first 5 pages. And a lot of the agents I query request either the first 5 or the first 10, which, yes, is the setup for the novel. I understand as a writer. I know that so much of what we focus on is hooking someone in those first few pages, but the first 5 pages cannot tell you enough about where the story's going, at least in terms of the plot developing, the exposition, the hooks, the rising action, etc., whatever, all the elements of the plot. There's just no way to encompass all that in 5 pages, so it's very hard to do that. Some ask for a synopsis, but in my experience of the authors, of the agents I've queried, very few ask for a synopsis. And so it's I rejected you on the first 5 pages with little else to go on. the more frustrating part is then, and this is just me ranting, take this with a grain of salt, but every so often you then see like a manuscript wish list post on Twitter and it's like, I'm looking for X. And it's like, I sent you that. You didn't want it. So it just gets frustrating. I know it's an uphill battle for everyone. It's hard to know how long to do this for. I will now have been querying for about a year. At one point, I had told myself a year or X number. I'm at the year. I'm not at X number. Mostly because there was a point in time where I've spoken of before. I just had to take a break from it, like the dealing with life and everything else, and the constant rejections was just getting to be too much. So I stepped away for a couple months. It was also the summer, so there weren't that many agents to pick from to begin with because a lot were on vacation, so close to queries. And so I'm still at that point where it's like, how much longer do I wait? How many do I query? Do I keep going and hope for that one? Am I going to run out of agents? I'm getting to the point where I'm seeing agents switching agencies who I have queried. And it's like, do I query again? I'm not at this point. Like if they turned it down then, they're probably going to turn it down now. But, just seeing that, I've also seen some agents that I've queried that are now no longer agents. So, there's that. Like I understand that too, that turnover is high and it's just very complicated. And at the back of my mind, I'm like, should I just self-publish this and hope whatever happens, and where the cards fall is where the cards fall? I don't know. That's still a question. It's still an option. And it's not the option I really want at the moment, but it is an option if all else fails eventually. So all this to say, it's been a week. I had some stuff happening at work. I'm sure that contributed to the migraine. I just, I hope the next week is better, and it has been better. I will say this month has been better overall. Not as many chaotic happenings have happened, but, there's stuff you can't control in your daily life, and you just kind of have to roll with it. So I've had a few stressful moments at work. I'm pretty sure one of those is what led to the migraine. I could just feel it coming. It happened 2 days ago, and I could already, the day it happened, like my heart shot up to like 140 some odd, which is like me on a run type heart rate. It was a stressful event involving a person in our building. So that kind of just threw me off, and I know that definitely triggered the migraine in some respects. But yeah, it's just been like a weird week. I've extroverted a little too hard. I've been very social over the week. I've had to do some things that I don't do on a regular basis, like standing in front of a classroom and giving, sessions and stuff like that. So just, throwing me off of my regular schedule, I think just led to this. But I'm planning to continue what I'm doing. I'm going to Panera at least once or twice a week to write, and that has really been helping. Just getting out of my space has really helped with pushing through and keeping that forward momentum. And I have also been maintaining my my meal plan, my prepping, my eating at home, my budgeting. That's a bigger conversation that I maybe will do a video on, or maybe won't. I don't know. Sometimes with stuff like this, it gets a little tricky when you make a video because I don't always love giving specifics. I feel a little bit weird about it. I don't know. Like, it's not that I'm ashamed of talking about money, but it's still a little weird. So, yeah, trying to get my life back together, particularly in time for the holidays with the money in particular, because I feel like I need to rein in spending in order to be prepared for the holidays this year, because I don't have a backup budget. With stuff that has happened over the last couple of years, I've been replenishing it's not really my emergency fund, but it's sort of like the pot of money where I draw from for like big expenses. And I've been focusing my energies on keeping my savings for that. So I've had no savings for anything else. Like sinking funds have been a zero at this year, like other than like the one sinking fund I have for my insurance, my car insurance every year. Everything else has not happened, and that's a problem because life happens, and so I don't want to keep having to draw from that big emergency / life events fund. But that is a story for another day. So I will check in with you guys probably tomorrow, but I wanted to have kind of like a little sit down before, or if this vlog should end, because if the migraine returns tomorrow, maybe I won't record. I don't know. So I will either check in with you guys tomorrow or not. We shall see.